to this masterclass on pathology tests to ease anxiety. So we're really going to look at, let's look at the symptoms of anxiety. And I think some of you, I mean, obviously you can relate to these racing thoughts, busy mind. So maybe you've always got stuff about work on your mind. Maybe it's about the kids, maybe it's about money, whatever it is, but your mind doesn't seem to be able to let that stuff go, right? And it's always spinning there, okay? You're feeling nervous, you're feeling tense, you can have panic attacks. Can't let thoughts go, feeling of dread waking up in the morning. I have a lot of clients say that to me. I wake up in the morning, the first thought is, oh, I can't do this. I can't go to work. I can't do this, right? Who relates to these symptoms? Overthinking, worry, the what if scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? You know, what about if we don't know what this is going to look like? You know, all that stuff that drives us crazy, right? Because it just spins around in our head all day. Poor sleep. You find that if you've been stressed all day, you can't sleep at night. You're waking up in the middle of the night. You can't get back to sleep, and then it's on your mind, right? Am I going to be able to get back to sleep? I can't get back to sleep. How am I going to function tomorrow, right? The mind starts to kick in again, feeling irritable and difficulty concentrating. So they're kind of some of the symptoms of anxiety. Obviously, there are more. And anxiety can really hold us back, and it's not just about a feeling, right? It's about what's the impact of anxiety to our life? Because I have women say, I just want to hide from the world. I'm not socializing. I'm not going out. And so therefore, some women aren't dating. They're not catching up with friends. And you start to feel lonely. Okay. So anxiety is leading to loneliness, right? We have less opportunities because we're not open. Okay. Let's be honest. I have a lot of clients say to me, they're managing their anxiety. Can I do this? Or if I go here, will I feel anxious? And there's this constant managing of anxiety. Who relates to this? Who's doing this? Let me know in the chat box. Not where you want to be in life. That's one of the things I really hear. It's really sad. It's because of anxiety, right? I'm not where I want to be in life because of my anxiety, because it really is that kind of secret decision maker in your life. Yeah, okay, I see lots of yeses. All right. And it's exhausting to manage, okay? And it really hijacks our joy, our contentment, our fulfillment, hijacks our opportunities in our life. And it's not normal. It's just not normal to have anxiety, okay? I know that we live in a fast-paced world where it's very demanding, but we've accepted anxiety as something that is just okay, and because everyone has it, but it's not okay, right? It's an indication of we are out of balance, right? And eventually it robs us of our spark. Okay, so our pathology. So what I really want to share today is when looking at your pathology tests, looking at imbalances, deficiencies, and inflammation, that can lead to anxiety. So it's not about our work or our kids or our money or COVID or whatever it is that you feel like is going on for you right now. It is what's happening inside, because it's an internal experience. You know, all the spiritual leaders say, right? It comes from inside out. And we're like, yeah, whatever, right? But it does, okay? And this is one aspect of where it comes from inside out. We're just going to look at the biochemistry, okay? So get your blood tests out or pen and paper ready. If you don't have recent blood tests, that's okay. Just write down the tests that I recommend now, and you can ask your GP for them. The first one is vitamin B12, okay? It's a really important vitamin, and it's one that I see deficient all the time, okay? Just severe deficiency can lead to depression, confusion, anxiety. Eventually our brain shrinks and it can lead to dementia. I've seen people, once they get a B12 injection, the confusion and the haze is gone. So it's a really important vitamin for our nervous system, okay? And it's a common deficiency. And the reason why it's a common deficiency is it can be diet related, but because of our gut function. So our gut helps to absorb B12 from our food. So number one, we get B12 mostly through meat products. So if you're a vegetarian, you really need to supplement. There's no other way around it. You need to supplement. But if you do eat meat and your B12 is low, then you need to, if it's very low, I normally recommend to ask the doctor for a B12 injection just to boost it up really quickly, but then you need to maintain it, right? And so that really comes down to restoring gut function, because our gut is going to absorb the B12 from our food, okay? And if you have the MTHFR gene, okay, and if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it, but if you have that, you need to have activated B12. Who's had their B12 tested? And ideally the levels, as you can see here, in Australia and New Zealand, they need to be, the ideal level is about 500. And in the US and Canada, it's above 450. So who's had their B12 tested and what level, or is it low? Let me know in the chat box. 417, Anna, that's not bad. Sharon, 319, yep. So it needs a bit of a boost. So that could just be dietary boost, right? So making sure that, you're having good quality meat and that you have good gut function. Shelley, yours is low, right? Lucy, yours is not too bad. It could be. Yeah, Lucy, yours is actually low. Could be much better. So ideal 500. That's where we want to get to. Who else? So that may be the majority. So B12, it's a really easy test to ask for. The doctor will do it. There's not a problem with it, okay? These are not out-of-the-box pathology tests. It's just the markers, because unfortunately, when you look at the pathology markers on the test, the range is so broad that you could fall anywhere in that lower end and be deficient in B12, but on their ranges, it shows that, well, you're within range. It's not going to flag anything. But I can tell you, this vitamin deficiency makes a massive difference to your mood and your mental clarity, okay? And it's really one that we don't want to have deficient, particularly as we get older, because it does lead to dementia. All right, thyroid panel. Let's talk about, Rhonda, yours was really high last time, so maybe you were supplementing. Let's talk about thyroid, okay? Because this is probably one of the main ones that I see for a lot of women that is underactive. They'll have their TSH test done with the GP, or they'll have some thyroid test, and the doctor says everything is fine, but actually your thyroid is underactive because, again, of these really broad pathology ranges. Okay, so what I look at is TSH, even though it's a very limited test in the sense of what it actually shows, because all it does is show thyroid stimulating hormones. So it just shows that the thyroid is being stimulated. It doesn't show how much of the active hormone we have. So TSH is important, okay? And then we want to have free T4 and free T3. Now, T4 converts into T3 as a catalyst for T3. And T3 is really our main thyroid hormone that does, all the hard lifting and the heavy lifting. It commands your metabolism. It initiates fat burning. It commands how your body uses energy. It maintains your bowel movement. So a lot of times women with low thyroid have very sluggish bowels. They feel tired. They get the brain fog, and anxiety and low mood and depression is really common with underactive thyroid. And the thyroid also keeps the other hormones in check. Your TSH should be between 1 and 2. Who's had their TSH checked? Let me know in the chat box. TSH should be between 1 and 2. That is optimal. Your free T4 in Australia and New Zealand should be between 14 to 18. Okay. If you're in the US, you want to have it above 3.7. For your T3, your free T3, you want to have it between 5 to 6 in Australia. So a couple of low TSH markers there. So in that case, when your TSH is low, it should really instigate your doctor to do further testing, but not often. They don't often do that. So your free T3 should be between 5 and 6, and the USA should be above 1.4. So that is a better way of really seeing how the thyroid is working. Now, if those ranges are out for you, if they're low or if they're high, or then it may mean that you require further testing. But what I would be looking at, if you were already low on these markers, particularly T3, then I would be looking at, you could do further testing on thyroid antibodies. Again, this is not something that your doctor or your GP is going to routinely check. And maybe when they look at those ranges on their pathology, it shows that it's in range, so they won't do it. You can order these tests for yourself online. And I really would recommend it. Do you know why? Because low thyroid, it really just slowly breaks you down. Like, it makes you tired. It makes you low mood. It gives you depression. It makes you gain weight. It really just changes who you are. It's not worth feeling like this, okay? So you can order these tests online for yourself if the doctor doesn't want to do it. The other thing that I'd be looking at, if you do have these markers, if they're showing up as low, is to look at adrenal function, okay? This is a big thing that I talk about in my work. Like, you would have heard me talk about bye-bye burnout for those who are not in bye-bye burnout, because the thyroid and the adrenals have a direct relationship. Whatever the adrenal's doing, the thyroid is mimicking, right? They're not in isolation. And so quite often, women will just treat the thyroid in order to boost their thyroid activity. And it doesn't work, right? Because we need to support the adrenals. Otherwise, we create a bit of what's called a thyroid storm, okay? And so what we need to do is address the adrenals first. So what I noticed is that really low thyroid function is most commonly due to Hashimoto's in Australia and New Zealand. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition where the thyroid becomes underactive, and a lot of it is gut related. But I've seen it hand in hand with adrenal fatigue. Eventually people get Hashimoto's. Okay. It's almost like a domino effect. There's excess stress, the hormones break down, adrenal fatigue, Hashimoto's, fibromyalgia, and the list goes on. Okay. And so we really want to nip this in the bud as soon as possible. So when you're looking at addressing the thyroid, you have to address the adrenals as well. Okay. So a couple of the suggestions that I've given here is obviously improving the diet. Restoring gut health. We have 70% of our immune system around our gut. And so we know that the alarm response for the immune system is inflammation. And so when we're stressed, the body, cortisol, our stress hormones, are breaking down our gut. And then our gut becomes compromised, our inflammation goes up, our immune system's activated, and then it breaks down the thyroid. Okay. And so we need to make sure that we have good gut functions. We want to restore adrenal function, which I've already mentioned. We want to repair liver detox pathways because the liver activates your thyroid hormones. And quite often when the gut has been broken down, the liver detox pathways break down. And what that means is that even you might have good levels of free T3 or free T4, but you aren't able to activate those hormones because of the liver. Right. So there's so many pieces to this, right? It's not just like one thing. And so repairing liver detox pathways is also important because toxicity builds up. Toxicity creates more inflammation in the system, particularly for the thyroid and also for the brain. Okay. So we now know that anxiety, depression, mood disorders is not just a case of, deficiencies of our, brain chemistry, but it's an inflamed brain. Okay. And it's all coming from gut-derived inflammation. Okay. And then toxicity builds up and then we get even more inflammation. Okay. There's also nutrients and cofactors because even if you have enough T3, it has to bind to the receptor site on the cell. And that means like zinc, selenium, all these other factors. If you've got too much toxicity, it won't. If you've got high stress levels, it won't. It's, like I said, it's a bit of a jigsaw and I'm going to try and pull it together for you at the end. But looking at thyroid health is not just looking at taking a herb for your thyroid. It's not even just looking at taking thyroid medication because I can tell you most of the women in my Bye-Bye Burnout program come in on thyroid medication and feel like crap because they're not having that. Their cell receptors are not getting the proper T3 to activate their metabolism, to rev up their body, give them energy, burn body fat, and make them feel amazing, right? They're not having that effect because of all these other pieces that need to be pulled in. I'm seeing other questions there. I'm going to come to the questions at the end. I can see a lot of you have posted your TSH levels, which is awesome, and your T4 and T4 levels. T3 not tested, should get that tested. Reverse T3 is another thing. Yes, you can definitely have that tested. That has a reverse effect, so it blocks T3. Maria, I'm not sure. Maria, what country are you in? Are you in Australia? Some pathology places are a bit different, but this is the standard. This is kind of the gold standard that I'm going off here. All right, the next test is your fasting glucose or insulin levels. Now, the biggest trigger for anxiety is not your job, is not your kids, is not COVID. It's actually reactive hypoglycemia. And what that means is that there's a drop in your blood glucose levels. And it normally happens when who gets hangry? Whoever gets hangry, like if you miss a meal, you're feeling irritable, or you're feeling like you've got a lot of cravings, or you just feel disorientated, you can't concentrate, your productivity slows down. Yep. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that is and hungry all the time. Okay. It's a really good indication of your blood glucose levels can't balance. They cannot sustain themselves. Okay. And a lot of that time I see that with adrenal fatigue. That's one of the first things that kind of shows up is that the body can't maintain its a steady blood glucose level. And so what that means is that your glucose levels go up and down, and it creates this effect in the body because as soon as they drop, your body releases stress hormone to pick them back up. Okay. And then you get anxiety, right? And then they plummet down again, and then they get low, and then the body releases stress hormone and it goes up again, and then you get anxiety. And so it's up and down like a yo-yo all day. It's completely exhausting. And so this is probably, if you were to repair your blood glucose levels, it would have an immediate result in the way that you feel. Okay. And that's certainly what I notice in my work. So who's had their glucose tested and what range is it? So you're looking at about 3.5 to 5.5. I mean, it's by no means an exhaustive list. Yep. Only had the A1. Yeah, okay, so 5. Yep. What about insulin? See, the HbA1c is also good, but insulin levels are a better marker of where you're at, and also for insulin resistance. So who's noticing that they're getting weight around their belly more so than anywhere else? Let me know in the chat box. Who feels like their weight goes around their belly? Yeah, so you really want to have your insulin levels checked, because that's a better marker than just glucose or even the HbA1c. Yep. Yeah, get that done for sure. Okay, so Lisa, depending on where are you in Australia, because that's a very high insulin level, should be under 8. Okay, so what do we do to improve this? Okay, the number one I see is adrenal health needs to be improved, because that's the thing that maintains your blood glucose levels. As your sugar levels drop, your body's able to handle it, along with your liver. Okay, your body's able to handle those ups and downs with your sugar levels and keep you still quite steady. But it's not because of adrenal and most likely liver function as well. Okay, and so what you want to do is have regular meals. Okay, you don't want to go too long. You don't want to get that dip. What I find with this is that obviously you need to have a good diet, not have too many, crappy carbohydrates. This is common sense stuff. You still want to have carbohydrates. I don't believe in cutting them out. And particularly to repair adrenal fatigue, you need them. And you want to have regular meals so there's no drop in the blood glucose levels. Okay, it's quite steady. So you're going to kind of almost manipulate that through the diet. You want to improve insulin sensitivity. So this is like exercise. There's certain nutrients like magnesium is a good one. But it's really going to be diet and stress, because stress creates insulin resistance. Okay, stress means that your body releases too much insulin. Okay, and so that's why these go hand in hand, adrenals and insulin. And basically all of our hormones are linked, and insulin is a hormone. All of our hormones are linked, and what happens to one has a ripple effect to the others. Okay, so they're not independent of each other. So cortisol goes up, insulin goes up. Okay, and so even though I see people that they feel like they're eating quite well, but they can't maintain or get rid of their insulin resistance, or they can't get rid of weight or belly fat, it's because of this adrenal function. Okay, and certainly for anxiety, like I said, reactive hypoglycemia is the biggest trigger for anxiety. Iron is another big one. Okay, so it's important for neurotransmitter synthesis. So our brain chemistry, tryptophan, serotonin, it's part of the melatonin, this whole neurotransmitter pathway. We need good iron levels. Okay, we need good ferritin levels. I'm going to come back to that question. So who has their iron tested? Who has low ferritin levels? Okay, should be between 60 and 220. 60 is at the lower end, right? We want it a bit further up. Ferritin's 42, so that's low. Okay, so you're deficient. 131, 128, 53. Yeah, got down to 10. Yeah, that's low, Kim. It's very low. Okay, so you're gonna feel so tired on that. Okay, your brain is not gonna be able to function because you're getting less oxygen to the brain. Your transmitters aren't being produced, so you're gonna feel really low and unmotivated and sad and anxious and all of that stuff. Okay, and so what do we do? So we need to supplement with iron. Iron is a tricky little bugger because it's not one of these things that you can take a massive dose and your body would just uptake it. Okay, the body has safety mechanisms to make sure that you don't absorb too much iron, because iron in high doses is toxic for the body. Body knows this. And so it releases an enzyme which slows down the absorption of iron the more that you take. So in actual fact, the less you take over time has a better effect than massive dosing, which is why the inorganic iron, the one that you get from the chemist, doesn't have such a great effect on iron levels. Plus it causes binding, so it causes constipation. But a more organic iron over time, and having it with food is the best way to have it. So obviously improving your diet, getting rid of infections, iron absorption and levels or ferritin will be impacted by infections, particularly gut infections. I see this. Again, you can start to see a similar pattern here. I'm talking about gut, I'm talking about adrenals, I'm talking about liver. So there's gut infections can cause poor iron absorption. And it's very common to have gut infections. If you get bloating, at the end of the day, who notices bloating at the end of the day? Who gets a lot of wind? Okay, this is all symptoms of a change or fermentation going on in the gut, and it makes a perfect environment for microbes to grow. Okay, the non-healthy kind. Yeah, and burp like crazy. Yep. So it's either air coming up or it's air going down. Okay, it's the same thing, right? And also, if your ferritin is low and you have a heavy period, you need to resolve the heavy period, okay, because you're losing too much iron each month. Sharon, I like Floridix, but it really depends on the person. But I think Floridix is a kind of good general. It's a liquid one. It's natural. It's organic. It has some B vitamins and some herbs in there, and it's lower dose. It's a natural one over time. Okay, that's what you want to get to. All right. So the other additional tests that I do, and look, I don't do this all in the Bye Bye Burnout group. I do this more in my one-on-one work, but you do an adrenal cortex stress profile. So that's looking at your DHEA and cortisol levels throughout the day. So that gives you an idea, because anxiety is always going to be, cortisol levels, elevated cortisol levels is always going to precede anxiety, okay, because cortisol is your main stress hormone. But sometimes what happens is that cortisol rhythm is completely out of whack. And so that stress profile helps to have a look at that. I also test for, again, this is something I do in my one-on-one, but I just want to share this. I also test neurotransmitter levels. So I really look at your brain chemistry to see where it's at. To me, that's kind of like really looking under the hood of a car and seeing what's going on. So this is for people with obviously chronic anxiety, and it depends where you're at. I mean, I think any anxiety to live with is horrible. Liver function and acid alkaline tests are the other tests that I do to really look at anxiety, and I can already see I've gone over time. All right, so how do we bring this all together? And then I'm going to answer your questions, and I just see my spelling mistake. You want to reduce stress hormones, because we know the adrenal involvement in the gut, in the liver. So it's affecting our iron levels, it's affecting our insulin levels, it's affecting our thyroid levels, okay? So repair the gut, we repair the microbiome, we repair liver detoxification pathways, support thyroid and adrenals, okay? Give them the nutrients they need to work on the receptors. So again, all that means is that you're feeling like your brain is back online. You can concentrate, you have better performance and productivity, and your metabolism is higher, so your energy is higher during the day, and you're just feeling much better in yourself. And so for those of you, I can see some issues. I don't know if anyone else is having issues with the slides. So for those of you in Bye Bye Burnout, obviously I take you through this process, okay? And so ask your questions in the chat box now, and I'm just going to quickly, for those of you who don't know what Bye Bye Burnout is the program that I take people through to repair all of these key systems, because kind of like this, it can look overwhelming. Like, what do I do, right? What do I have to do here? What do I have to do there? And so it's really about what I do in the Bye Bye Burnout is, first of all, I know that when your stress hormones are high, that's obviously going to give you anxiety, but it's going to prevent healing of the gut, healing of the liver, healing of the thyroid, and right? And so we need to reduce that first. And that's the first part of Bye Bye Burnout is what we do is we reduce those stress levels through different ways. We do it through food, we do it through habits and lifestyle changes, we do it through a mind reset, okay? Because what we have to understand is that our hormones are being affected by what's going on up here, okay? Food is one part, it's not the whole part. What's going on up here, we need to settle this down. And I really talk about some very key basic principles that that help to shift that, okay? And then the next part is repairing the gut. So you have healthy gut function, so improves your iron, supports your thyroid, okay? So get rid of bloating. It also changes your mood, okay? Because we know that a lot of our neurotransmitters are produced in the gut, affecting our mood, okay? And then liver detoxification, obviously people lose weight in that part, but that's really important for the thyroid as well, and to get rid of inflammation. And resetting your mind is like I said, that's a really key part. Who here is in the Bye-Bye Burnout program already? Let me know in the chat box. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Shelley. Shelley, Rhonda. Yeah, it's heaps. Okay, awesome. So, I mean, you're just going to follow the modules, right? Because I'm taking you through this step by step. You know, all of this stuff that I've just talked about in the blood testing for anxiety, I have covered in each of those. So it's all incorporated. So it's a very strategic plan. Okay. So you're just going to follow everything that's in the program. I've set it up so it does reduce the stress, and then we repair key systems, and all of your metabolism and energy comes back online. Hey, Claire, if you email us, we can get you login details at hello@vesnaherstead.com.au, and we'll give you login details. Okay, so those of you who want to have a look at Bye-Bye Burnout, who is not in Bye-Bye Burnout that wants to have a look at Bye-Bye Burnout and wants me to share anything more about it? Let me know in the chat box. Well, I have a sip of water here. Yeah, okay. Okay, awesome. So, but like I said, Bye-Bye Burnout, it's an online program. So it's what I developed over 20 years. Okay, I went through adrenal fatigue and burnout. So that's the fatigue, that's the anxiety, that's the low mood. It's brain fog, it's poor sleep, it's weight gain for no reason, even though you're eating relatively the same. And what it involves is repairing hormones and repairing key systems, but there's so much more to it, okay? Because remember how I said, this is what's really driving us crazy. And so we need to get a handle on that, okay? And so there's, like I said, there's different parts to Bye-Bye Burnout. So we're doing dietary changes. We're really repairing everything that I just talked about in this masterclass. But we're giving you lifelong habits to take away with you, to keep you in check and to keep you on track. Okay? This is not a program that you do for 6 weeks and then you finish up, right? It's a program to really change the way you're doing things right now. It's not complicated. It's not overwhelming. In fact, I've designed it in a way with this habit stacking delivery system that you can't get further ahead, okay? You're doing just one thing a day. It's very easy to follow. And that's why it works so well as well. Okay, so it's really the foundation. I talk about what makes this so different. The foundation, the 20-year naturopathic program that I have has been clinically tested in my clinic and with thousands of women online. Okay, so I know that this works. But it's not enough to just have a really good foundation. We need to have the mind reset, because this is what's triggering us all day and making us do things and then stop. We start, we stop, we start, we stop. We get discouraged and all of that. So we need a shift on that. And then the habit stacking delivery system. So you're just implementing small changes over time so that it becomes a lifelong habit rather than something that you do for 6 weeks and then stop, right? It's a 6-week program. You have access to it for as long as you need, okay? So I'm going to put a link in the chat box and you can have a look at it. And those who want to join up, I was thinking this morning. I'm going to go through your questions. So those who want to join up to Bye-Bye Burnout, I just thought today, because I'm talking about pathology, right? And I know the difference that doing this mindset stuff, how much of a difference it makes. And I'll give you a really good example. One of my recent clients who had severe panic attacks, anxiety all day, and panic attacks to the point where she'd have to be hospitalized for 3 days at a time in emergency care. Okay, so really debilitating anxiety. She no longer has that anymore. She has no panic attacks. She has no anxiety, okay? And so what I was thinking this morning, like, it's really good to share the pathology, but I really want to share this piece with you as well. And so what I thought I would do, for those of you who want to join me in Bye-Bye Burnout, who sign up today, I thought for the first 10 people that sign up, I'm going to run another private masterclass only for 10 people. And I'm really going to go through that stuff. I'm really going to show you the mindset piece. And it's not meditation. It's not anything like that. It's really a shift in understanding. It's understanding 3 key principles, which, like I said, for my clients, has shifted them from panic attacks, anxiety, to feeling really calm and on top of things, okay? Complete transformation. So if you go to that link and you sign up, that particular link will reach out to you and will send you the details of the masterclass for the mind, extra kind of mind shifting stuff. Okay, I don't know what to call that yet, but it'll probably be around the same time next week, and 10 of us will get on the call, and I'm going to coach you as well. Okay, I'm going to find out what's going on for you, but I'll take you through that training. Kirsty, you can use that link to show your friend. Okay, let's have a look at some questions. If I've missed your question, you can retype it. Let me know if you have any questions about bye-bye burnout. Leanne, you're saying, I have low cortisol that is untreated. How do I address it? Yeah, so that's the process that we go through bye-bye burnout. It's not as simple as taking a supplement, okay? So when I had low cortisol, I remember when I went through adrenal fatigue. So low cortisol generally means adrenal fatigue. When I had low cortisol, I went to the doctor and, it was confirmed. I went to a specialist, confirmed. And so I just took a whole bunch of adrenal supplements, right? And I pushed myself further into adrenal fatigue because I was just like wringing whatever I could get out of my adrenals to keep me going for energy. It's too stimulating. And I did it the wrong way, right? Because we do things because we just want to feel better. And so it's really a process. And so we start in the bye-bye burnout, I start on the 10-day total body reset. And that is about in the first 10 days doing these quick habits, which will change your energy, which will build up your motivation, build up momentum. Okay. And so for those of you who are in the program, you know this already. Okay. It's very strategic because it lowers the stress hormone or balances the stress hormones, I should say. It's not about reducing stress cortisol. It's about balancing it and increasing energy, reducing anxiety. Women already sleep better in the first, week, all of that stuff. I can see some other questions. Okay. Yeah, Leanne, you're being diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. So yeah, that's what bye-bye burnout is designed for. Hey, Carmel, it is normal. It can be normal to have a cold after a detox because your body will sometimes take on an infection in order to detoxify even more deeply. So it's actually a good thing. Okay. But detox is a time that you're meant to slow down just for that week, right? So listen to your body. I always say listen to your body, but it's a good thing. It's just going to get another layer of detoxing, which is awesome. All right. Any more questions? I'm going to go back through the other questions, but if you have any more questions, let me know now. Charlotte, you're asking, can high B12 make you tired and anxious? Yeah, I mean, there could be MTHFR gene mutation there. So you want to have, so if you're taking vitamin B12, you want to take the activated, but you may want to have that gene test. And that's something that you could order online as well. Carissa, you're saying, mid-40s and also still on the pill. Does this affect any of the things you already talked about? Yeah, the pill does affect things for sure. Again, it's another hormone being put into the body. But if you've got these symptoms, then like the anxiety, the fatigue that's not relieved by sleep, the unexplained weight gain, even though you're eating relatively the same things, brain fog, all of that stuff, then there's a lot more going on there than just you taking the pill. I will send you a recording later, guys, definitely. So don't worry about that. Yes, Leanne, I would definitely get T3 and T4 tested, even though you have been diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. Like I said, that's that direct relationship. Stephanie, your mum has had her thyroid removed and is on thyroxine. Can she do the program? Absolutely. So remember how I said most women come into the program on thyroxine and they feel like crap. Okay, so she would still need to do the gut work, the liver work, because all of that is still working with the medication, even though the thyroid hormone is being replaced. But then also on the cells, so T3 kind of buzzes around through the body. That's an active thyroid hormone, but it needs to attach to our cells in order for us to feel the effects of it. So it's pointless just buzzing around. We need to have it binding, right? And so even though she has good thyroxine or T3 levels or T4, T3, she still needs to have that. And so we cover all of that in the program. You're welcome. Oh, the link isn't working. Has anyone found the link isn't working? Let me know. I'm going to put the link in again. Let me know that this link works okay, guys. What is it? When you say it's not working, Leanne, what do you mean? I think I picked up. Okay, the link works fine. Okay, try it again, Leanne. Maybe it was just a internet thing. Heidi asking, where do you order blood tests online? You can order at iScreen, i-screen.com.au. There's also one in New Zealand. Yeah, awesome. Okay, the link works. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So like I said, for those, I'm going to do the first 10 people that sign up to Bye-Bye Burnout, I will do another masterclass on the mind reset stuff. So like I said, this is the stuff that I do only with my one-on-one clients, okay, with my in my peak revival program. And it's really getting to the heart of stress and anxiety. Okay. And so the shift that they've had is that they've gone from, hospitalized with panic attacks to not having any anxiety at all. Okay. In 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So it's pretty amazing stuff. Hey, Jen, you're asking, so I talked about B12 on the first slide. So ideally you want to have it at about 500 in your blood test. If you're in Australia and New Zealand. Any other questions, guys? So we're at just a little bit over time, but I'm happy to stay on because there's heaps of you online. So I'm happy to stay on. Do you have a question about Bye-Bye Burnout? Ask me now. Lucy, you get instant access. Yes. So basically, once you sign up, it'll direct you to the membership site. I might actually show you the membership site. Let's do this. I'm going to stop this share. How do I do this? Oh, here we go. Let me try something. I get to see a big shot of my face. And then I'm going to share what the membership site looks like inside. And so we've got it broken down into modules. So you're basically going step 1, step 2, step 3, just following the program. And so what are we doing here? Oops. Playing one of the videos. So basically, let me show you. Oh, I see more questions. Hold on a second. Let me just get this. Share my screen. All right, you're going to see my whole face. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Like if you go into the membership site, so it's broken down with modules and then the bonuses. And then this is inside the Total Body Reset. Day 1, you'll get a video from me and then a thing to download to implement. And it's really just one habit a day. One habit a day over the 10 days. And then we reduce those habits over the week. So you'll be surprised by the end of it how much, what have I done? Sorry, guys. I'm going to stop sharing, actually. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I just went through. Anyway, it's one habit a week, and then we slow that down. And so by the end of it, you'll be very surprised by what you've implemented at the end, okay? Yes, Stephanie, you can follow the program at your own pace. Okay, I say to everyone, stay in your own lane because you're all coming in with a unique set of circumstances. Okay, some of you have been anxious and tired and stressed for 6 months or 12 months. Some of you for 5 years, some of you for 10 years, right? And that takes a little bit more nurturing, right? And that's totally fine. So you have access for as long as you need. You stay in your own lane. We have community support. So I'm in there every Wednesday doing an accountability post. Lena is in there every day. She's awesome. Okay. It's a really awesome group. Okay. It's not your standard Facebook group. Okay. We really have things that we've got a lot of posts in there to keep you on track and we answer all your questions and stuff like that. Stephanie, you don't need to just answer the last part of your question. You don't need to link into things at workouts, but if you sign up today, if you're one of the first 10, then we will be doing one more mini masterclass where I'm going to walk you through the mind reset stuff. Okay. So it's definitely worth it to jump on. Okay. This is what I do with my one-on-one clients. Oh, thanks, Kirsty. Okay. I will, I'm sure there's typos. I'm not surprised. Do hormone issues, hold on. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm sure other people listening while they're working, Stephanie. Okay, do hormones issues affect the success of the program? What do you mean, Leanne? Because this is a program that addresses the hormones. Because like I said, I talk about all the hormones. I mean, for most people coming in, they don't need support with the other hormones, but I talk about them in a separate video. So I'll give you some bonus stuff in there for those who are at that place who have issues with their other hormones. Rhonda, you're saying I'm taking PCIP when I'm flat. Do you recommend it? Yep, that's fine. Yvonne, I recommended the Floridix iron, the liquid iron. I really like it. Postmenopausal issues. Okay, no, absolutely. So I recommend, because adrenal fatigue and menopause, premenopause, postmenopause, the symptoms are very similar. Okay, and that's because as you go through menopause, your body is relying on your adrenals and your body fat to produce the hormones. And if you're in adrenal fatigue, which you said you are, it makes it very hard for the body to keep up that hormone demand. So therefore you get all the symptoms, right? Yeah. Makes sense? Yes, I can see you got it. Emma, yes, Floridix is okay for kids too. I think they do a kids formula as well, but it's totally okay for kids. I give it to kids. You just do half the dose. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, jump on board, Leanne, for sure. If you can't make, so like I said, for those of you who sign up to Bye-Bye Burnout, I'm offering the extra additional masterclass. And if you can't attend it, I'm going to do it at the same time next week. If you can't attend, let me have a look at my calendar. I will send you a recording. It's only for the first 10 people. I'm going to book that in my calendar now. If you have any more questions, let me know, guys. So 12:30 next Wednesday. Call it the mind reset, anxiety reset, something, I don't know. I'll work it out. But it's really understanding these, like I said, the key principles that have shifted people from panic attacks and anxiety and, constant overwhelm to none of that. Oh, Leanne, that's so frustrating. Oh, Lucy, you're saying clicked on book enroll now and the page isn't working. Okay, I'm going to give you another link. If you use this link, actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to go to that link and have a look at what the heck is going on. What have I done there? Oh, I see the problem. Sorry, guys. My bad. Okay, I'm going to give you the link now. Just give me 1 second and I'll give you the correct link. Okay. Oh, this is weird. Okay, let me put this, I'm going to put this in the chat box. If you just go to this link, it goes direct to the checkout page. And let me know your other questions. I'm going to quickly update these links. Sorry, guys. Does that link work for you now? So when you buy through that link, I'll know that you've purchased from the masterclass, and then we'll send you an email to the first 10 people who buy to organize next week's masterclass on the anxiety mind reset. Any more questions? Let me know. I'm just quickly doing some last minute updates to a page which I thought was working. I didn't, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What's done is done. All right, guys, I'll be 1 second, then I'm going to answer any other questions that you have. I'll send you a recording of this masterclass as well. So for those who couldn't get on, okay, those links should all work now. Yes, awesome. That one doesn't have the 2-part payment option. All right, let's go 2-part payment option. Leanne, you're making me work. Okay, hold on. Oh, not that one. I won't know then. Okay, let's try. All right. That's okay, Leanne. Here's the other link, the 2-part play plan. Carmel, yes, your iron is low at 20. Very low. Very, very, very low. Okay, so low iron is going to lead to anxiety. It's going to lead to like give symptoms of ADD, ADHD, cognitive decline, poor sleep, all that stuff. So yeah. So Carmel, are you in the Bye-Bye Burnout program? Yeah, okay. Follow the program, okay? Because first of all, what you need to do is repair the gut, make sure that the microbiome's healthy, improve the diet, and then you want to supplement with iron, but you still need to do all of that work as well, okay? So you want to take Floridix iron, but follow the program, okay? Any more questions, guys? Monica, I missed yours. Sorry. Monica, are you still online? I'm in the beginning of menopause. I feel like adrenal fatigue and also taking meds for suppressing hunger that make me even more hyped up. Oh, what medication is that, Monica? Yeah, definitely. Look, appetite's the thing that particularly when we're stressed, our body's going to want more food and want more carbohydrates. And unfortunately, it's a survival response because your sugar levels drop. Remember how I talked about fluctuations in blood glucose levels, very common with adrenal fatigue. And you're not going to control that by trying to control your hunger because it's a survival mechanism of the body. Okay, the sugar levels drop too low, it's dangerously low. Body gets hungry, initiates cravings for you to eat something to restore the blood glucose levels. Even if you don't eat anything, the body will break down muscle tissue, convert that into glucose, and refuel your blood glucose levels, meaning that it starts to change your body shape as well, because obviously you're losing muscle mass and you're replacing it with body fat. Okay, so really look at it, Monica. I know it can be frustrating, but really look at it from a holistic sense because your body knows how to regulate of course I'd get a delivery now. Your body knows how to regulate your blood glucose levels and your appetite. Can I quickly get this? Give me a second, guys. Sorry. Hey. Yeah, just leave it inside. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I've been waiting for a delivery. All right, sorry. Okay, Monica, did that answer your question? Yeah, emotional eater. So your body knows how to regulate your weight, okay? And I think that's what we forget, Also, welcome, Leanne. Welcome aboard. So, like I said to a client the other day, when you I cut my finger, I was washing a glass and basically it shattered and it really cut into me and glass went everywhere. And anyway, so this pretty nasty cut on my finger. And in 2 days, it was like completely different. It was so healed. And like I was saying to my client, how is it that, we know that when we cut ourselves, our body will heal. We don't have to be active in that process. But when it comes to losing weight, we feel like our body can't do that. Right? And the same intelligence that fixes a cut finger will repair your metabolism. Okay, but I certainly found that one of the biggest roadblocks to losing weight is hypervigilance, thinking about it a lot, okay? It becomes this catch-22. You want to lose weight, and so you're monitoring everything you're eating. Oh, don't think about food. I don't want that. And then your emotions go all over the place. You're like, oh, no. You're trying to resist it, right? And it's this constant activation of the stress response. Does that sound familiar, Monica? Yeah, Lucy, even you'll say I'm obsessed with, yeah. So I talk about that in Bye-Bye Burnout because that is your barrier. That's your barrier. It's not what you're eating, how much you're eating. Of course, that becomes a part of it. But it's what's going on here, which is actually because I'm not going to pull my whiteboard out, but all that thinking activates the fight or flight response, which takes your thyroid offline. And so therefore slows down your metabolism, increases your appetite and cravings. Yay, Lucy, welcome. I think you'll be in the masterclass. I have no idea. I don't have my phone with me. So yeah. And we can look, Monica, I don't know if you're in Bye-Bye Burnout, but if whoever's signed up to the masterclass, we can talk about that if you want, the mindset piece with weight, how hypervigilance is actually the actual roadblock to losing weight rather than how many calories you're eating or how many carbohydrates you're eating or how much you're exercising. Yeah, awesome. Okay. I'm going to talk about that in the masterclass. Let me just give myself a note. Cool, this will be fun. I love talking about this stuff. Any more questions? Monica, you said you missed the beginning of this. So I talked about the pathology test. The pathology test I cover in Bye-Bye Burnout. So at what point did you join in? So I talked about pathology tests for anxiety and then, what that indicates. And then really what you've got to be doing is repairing key systems. And the main ones that I talked about was reducing stress, repairing the gut and the microbiome, liver detoxification pathways, and doing a mind reset, because this is where a lot of our stuff is coming from. And then I offered the Bye-Bye Burnout program and then a special bonus only for the first 10 people that sign up. Join me on another masterclass, just 10 people, and we're going to talk about that mind reset piece, okay, because it is so important, and how it can really shift your anxiety, panic attacks, whatever you've got going on, okay, how it can really make these intense shifts that I've seen in my work through just a simple understanding, okay. And then we're also going to talk about the hypervigilance around weight loss and how it affects and what we can do. Yeah, I'm excited too, Leanne. Okay, anyone have any more questions? Okay, Lisa, you're asking, so my daughter has Addison's. Could this help her? So with Addison's, obviously, it's, adrenal insufficiency. So yeah, absolutely. Because we're looking at diet, we're looking at habits, we're looking at mindset, we're looking at liver, looking at gut. Absolutely. So I don't recommend, this is a program for adults, okay? And I say that because, what I recommend in terms of detoxifying the liver, I wouldn't recommend for children. You could take a different approach in the sense like not having any supplements. There are only some supplements in the gut and the liver. So I wouldn't recommend that for children for a program, okay? Unless, I was working with them one-on-one, that'd be different. But which I don't really work with kids anymore. It's mainly burnt out business women. Hey, Michelle, you've missed most of this. Yeah, I'll give you a replay. Not a problem. Oh, Lisa, I'm sorry to hear that. She's 19 and had cancer. Yeah. You know what? I always say, so Bye-Bye Burnout, okay? So people come into the program with anxiety, fatigue, poor sleep, burnt out, right? Adrenal fatigue. But they also come in with a whole range of other symptoms like fibromyalgia, like chronic fatigue, like infertility, eczema, hormonal issues, and so much other stuff that is healed as well. Okay. And the reason being is because the program works on the foundation of good health by reducing stress. Our number one cause of illness and disease is stress. So we have to reduce that. We have to reduce stress hormones. There's no way around it. We're trying to find a way around it by just eating the right foods. We're not getting the results that we want, right? So reducing stress, mind, food, habits, repairing the key systems, the gut, the liver, the hormones. And that's why these women, like, you know, we have women who were never able to fall pregnant, you know, repair their hormones. Women who had lifelong eczema, gone, right? Women who had, you know, chronic gut problems and perimenopausal stuff and fibromyalgia and so much more. So yeah, that's why, because it really is the foundation to good health. All right, guys, any more questions, let me know. There's still a few of you online. I'm happy to stick around for another 5 more minutes. If you have a question about bye-bye burnout, ask me now. And I'll drop you an email. Once I log off, I'll send an email, quick email with the link to the replay and a link to the sales page of the program, which now works. The link to the program details page, which now works. So I don't know how many we've got, but once we get to 10, that masterclass is booked out. So if you sign up to Bye-Bye Burnout today, you get an additional masterclass where I'm really going to talk about the mind reset, shifting from anxiety to more calm, but on a different level rather than a biochemical level. And we're also going to talk about shifting the mindset around weight. So getting rid of that hypervigilance, which is the barrier to weight loss. I don't see any more questions coming up, guys. So I'm going to jump offline. You're welcome, Monica. You're welcome, Leanne. I'll see you on the masterclass. All right, guys, thank you for being here. And I hope that this masterclass was really helpful. Obviously, love your feedback. And wherever you are, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope you go out and get those blood tests if you haven't got them already and see where it takes you. Okay. And I hope to see you in Bye-Bye Burnout. Thank you, guys. Bye.